Next up, I have the pleasure and the honour of interviewing Sam Aldred, the new head of Asia Pacific for Wexer. Sam comes from an extensive online and digital background and really brings new perspective and new energy into our sector when it needs it most. His outlook on where virtual fitness and wellness will evolve to in 2021 is eye-opening. It's a really great interview. Enjoy. Sam, many thanks for joining us here today. Congratulations on the new role. A very exciting chapter ahead for yourself. How have these last few months been for yourself?
Thank you very much. But yes, it's been an exciting time joining Wexer. See, I was already familiar with Wexer through my role at Les Mills, and I already knew Paul and some of the team then. But I guess what's been interesting for me is to join the journey at Wexer as they evolve their business. I knew Wexer as an in-club virtual business primarily, but of course joining and being on the inside, I can see actually huge strides were made from a strategy perspective 12 months ago, which we're seeing bear fruition now. And Wexer is now predominantly a mobile company, so a mobile company aggregating and distributing content through mobile and digital outpoints. So that's been really interesting to get under the skin of, understand better, and see where we can help out the industry and the clubs that we service.
Now, you've been in this virtual space for a lot longer than many of us have, and of course this virtual world has had huge acceleration through this COVID crisis. Looking back in your time with Les Mills, where of course you created and brought around a lot of their digital and virtual offerings, what have been your reflections from an industry standpoint in the past couple of years of where virtual was and where it has come to today?
I mean, look, as you say, there's been huge changes, and when I joined Les Mills at the start of 2018, just if we take that as a microcosm of the industry as a whole, that was a business that was hugely focused on the primacy of its live product, and you look at it today, and it's a multi-platform business. And it's a B2B and a D2C company. So I think that kind of effectively mirrors the kind of changes that the industry is seeing, and certainly Wexer's on a similar journey, and the industry as a whole is. And COVID has poured accelerant on the changes that were already coming. We were already aware of that trend called mobile, that trend called digital. But here it is staring right in front of us, and we've had to change really rapidly and really quickly. The good news is the infrastructure is already built for us. People have a device in the palm of their hands. Connectivity is there. Production is really simple and really easy. It's just about climbing on board and making the most value you can out of it.
Now, across your career, you've created and designed virtual and digital platforms, Sam. Looking at perhaps, this kind of journey of the operator, a lot of them this year have made, I suppose, some short-term adjustments with their virtual offerings. They've put something into place, but many of them still haven't quite decided upon that long-term strategy for how virtual and digital will fit inside their business. When looking at doing this, coming back from your experience, what considerations must companies now bring into play when they're actually looking at executing a long-term virtual strategy?
Well, the first thing, as you correctly identified, is make that change and make some momentum and get things moving. Like you have to do that. We worry about sunk costs a lot in business. I actually think when you're talking about digital, it's not a sunk cost. It's maybe sometimes a sunk advantage. Even if you are investing in something that doesn't outcome exactly what you wanted, you are developing your team, your strategy, you're building relationships, you're creating IP, and digital changes so rapidly anyway that you need to make that change. So that's the first bit, and by and large, the industry has got there, but we always want to encourage that first step. But I think the most important thing that's critical is decide what outcome you want. What is the outcome that you want from your digital business and your digital strategy? And I can see this implemented in lots of different ways in the industry. already. You've got an organisation like Planet Fit who are looking at digital as a brand exercise, as a huge mind share expansion. Their digital platform is free to everybody. They have a huge YouTube presence. They're producing lots of content and making it available to as many people as possible. It's about ubiquity of their brand. Now, if I look at someone like Equinox or Fit, they've both got very polished digital propositions with Varus and Cyberobics. But in their cases, to their members, that those products are free. They're bundled inside their overall value proposition. So for those businesses, and I see this strategy replicated on lots of the partnership conversations I have, which is people using digital and content as a means to engage with customers, obviously off platform, but to drive value into a subscription, particularly when members aren't working out inside a club right now. So I think that's the critical thing: is what is the outcome? What is the desired outcome that you want before you embark on your strategy? And I think the third strand that we'll see is that as clubs get more sophisticated at creating digital solutions and they embrace the idea of running a digital club, then they will become revenue generating businesses in their own right. But I don't think we're at that point yet. Right now, it's about driving value, attendance, applying a metric to put against churn. So those are the core benefits I see right now.
Other industries have been further down this journey for quite some number of years now. Looking back on other industries in their journey along digitalization, Sam, they've made mistakes. What mistakes have they made that we have to learn from?
Well, I think the number one is don't be in denial. We talked about the fact that we're starting to move, but COVID has changed things, but we can't put the genie back in the bottle. Digital is here. And it's not going away. Members are going to work out at home. At-home fitness is now a thing, and we need to decide how we deal with that. So that's key, and certainly too many traditional media businesses or analog businesses spent too long in denial, thinking they could fight that fight. And it's important to realize that you can't. Things have changed, and there's a huge amount of value to changing, adapting, and embracing a new model. Secondly, I think you need to look and make a decision and decide what elements of your own distribution you want to own. And you can see this model throughout the world in lots of different ways across many different industries. If you look at the SVOD market, the streaming video market, you've got companies like Disney and many others who are claiming back their distribution and owning it because they understand the value of driving users to a platform that they have ownership of, content that they own, that they can own the data and the customer. And I think that's really important. Of course, all organizations aren't Disney operating at the same scale, so it might be that you don't want to go quite that route, but I do think that it's really important that we own some element of how we supply the customers our goods, and that's why I think that there's no long-term value for businesses, streaming their services off the likes of Zoom or Facebook when they could be directed them to a portal, to an app that's actually made for your customers, where you can contact and control and manage them. And so I think that's a key learning. The second one, thirdly, I think if you take an analogy from the music business, is don't be producing albums in a singles market. That's something that the music business had to learn pretty hard. They're still trying to churn out CDs and wanting people to buy 12 or 13 tracks at a time, when the consumer had completely moved on and simply wanted one thing. Thanks very much. But of course, that's moved on since then. And it's really the ubiquity of content and people's consumption habits. So if you look at the music industry now, it's paid releases are split between mixtapes and live shows and 100 other ways. So I think it's probably about more material rather than less, and understand that your consumers want more. And I think lastly, understand that, if you look at social media and the world that it's turned up on its head, personalities can be bigger than brands, particularly established brands. The Kardashians are bigger than Vogue. Donald Trump arguably is bigger than the New York Times when it terms to kind of reach of his message. So look at your personalities inside your organization, which might be your instructor talent, and consider how you can use them, that they can really aid your brand really effectively and your business really effectively. And I think that that's something that we can all learn from.
You touched on that earlier, Sam. This whole evolution of the industry is moving so quickly. Let's maybe take a crystal ball 12 months from now. How will digital fitness and wellness look like in the marketplace?
Well, look, there's some obvious big trends there. The growth in digital only will continue to evolve. There's no such thing as a saturation of the market as far as technology companies are concerned, and in fact, as far as tech investors are concerned either. So we'll continue to see new entrants into that market. Yes, we all know that Apple are coming, but they'll by no means be the last. From an operator perspective, we'll continue to see operators owning and producing their own content. It's incredibly valuable. It's valuable to them and to their members. And I expect to see even more clubs embrace it and embrace not only just producing on-demand content or live content, but finding a home for it within their own platform as well. And I would expect probably third-party content inside that same universe exists as well. I guess finally, I think more fitness in more places, fitness everywhere. Fitness is on vogue and right now in a way that potentially it's never been before. We're talking about, the physical and mental health challenges that COVID has brought, and fitness and wellness together as a package is suddenly, I think, really valuable to brands and media organizations. And certainly that's reflected in some of the conversations that I'm having right now.
Zooming out from digital fitness and wellness and maybe looking at a more macro technology space, Sam, what other kind of macro trends do you think are going to impact technology? And then with that, how they're going to reverberate down to impact the fitness and wellness landscape?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's two mega trends that are so mega that it seems rude not to mention them, but mobile continues to dominate our life, and whether you'd call it a trend or not, but COVID obviously impacts our personal, professional, social lives in so many different ways, and those together are going to be the biggest drivers of change in all of our lives. And the fitness industry obviously isn't exempt from that. So right now, where are your customers? They're at home. What are they doing? They're on their phone. So are you there? And if not, why not? And that's the same for every business in the world, and it's true of the fitness industry as well. And that's why this is really exciting greenfields, because there's huge opportunity for growth by taking these really established, really brilliant fitness brands that we know from a physical perspective, and taking their experience and making it compelling and exciting online. I think probably your other trend that follows in from that is that that idea that whatever you want to call it, content is everywhere, or maybe we talk about the attention economy, and how do we grab a piece of that? How do we own some of our customers' mind share? And I think we need to realize how important that is. Reed Hastings, who's the CEO of Netflix, talks about Fortnite being his biggest competitor. Not that it's actually a competitor of Netflix, but it's a competitor for mind share. And those are the kinds of conversations I think that we need to have in the industry. It does matter what people are doing at home, and we want to be there, because if they're not interacting with our products and services, they're not thinking about our brand, then they're going to be less likely to pay our bills, and that's what we want. We want growth.
Let's turn the spotlight now, Sam, on Wexer. Obviously, you're expanding quite significantly across the Asia-Pacific region. New people, new offices, new ideas. What the milestones look like for you in the next 12 months?
Yeah, well, as you say, new offices. I'm one of the lucky people in the world that's just taken office space. So yeah, look, lots of growth. We're hoping and expecting. We've made a business strategy change to be focused less on those mega enterprise clubs and looking to instead to as well to attract those clubs at a medium level. So clubs from a sort of 5 to 50 club chain is where we see a huge amount of growth. But for us, although we realise that there's big challenges and big impacts right now, and our mindset isn't that the industry is looking down a precipice. We think it's looking up a mountain of opportunity. So I do think that there's growth here, and it's really exciting to be here and be part of it.
One last thought, Sam. Of course, we'll wrap things up just now. Thanks very much for all those ideas about outcome, about attention economy. What role will Wexer play in developing this marketplace? You've already been at the forefront in terms of delivering some incredible content and offerings to your partners. But as we grow this market, what role will Wexer play?
Yeah, well, look, we're looking to, apply, execution and experience to the hybrid fitness model. That's what we've got. And you can't commoditize that. And that's what our business is all about. Is we've got distinct IP around executing great experiences for clubs, and we're really excited with the opportunity not just to deliver a platform, but actually work with them to kind of help them establish growth and to work with them on their digital strategy and to be a long-term partner. Product development is always about features becoming a commodity, but that's why we're always evolving our thinking and always evolving our products. We're not going to stand still. It's great that this is a competitive market because it means that it's growing, and it's my job to support customers and partners and help their business grow, and that's what's going to excite us over the next 12 months.
Well, Sam, excited to have you here in Asia Pacific. Excited to have some more experience help galvanise our sector going forward in the virtual space. Thanks very much for a great conversation, Sam, and look forward to seeing you face to face, hopefully in your office very soon.
Yeah, likewise. Cheers, Ross.